Today's video is how to be solution oriented. I'm Mike Stokes and this is Wild Alive Coaching. I found in all of my years of study, human potential movement, my personal research, taking seminars and reading, that one of the key factors that I run into that's the biggest stumbling point for people in creating positive change in their life and making new things happen. It's very simple, and like most teachings, simple is not easy, and that's the idea of being solution oriented. What's an example of that? One example is to let go of, practice. Let's say, what's a practice that you can do that will make this happen? One practice is to stop speaking in terms of problems without potential solutions. So for example, you could say, man, I just don't have any money again in the bank in my savings. What you've just done is expressed a complaint without any action, any commitment to action into the future. In one of the previous videos outlined how to create an accountability structure. So in order to create committed action, you have to have one or another type of an accountability structure where somebody outside of yourself actually is pushing you forward on keeping your word. So let's say, for example, you said that, like, I don't have any money in my savings account. One solution-oriented idea would be to sign up for some automatic online savings program. I use one. I'm not going to recommend it because I just started using it and I don't know enough about them, where they take out a little bit every month or every few days, really. They just analyze my spending habits and take some out. And so now I've begun to save more money. There's all kinds of stuff about financial well-being, which is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the psychological and emotional underpinnings. So normally what we do is we complain because it makes us feel not good, but comfortable. That's what most people don't understand, is you think like, well, if I really could solve the problem, I would. But that's not true. You don't solve the problem because you're addicted to complaining about it. When you complain about it and somebody else in your life says, oh, I know, that's really a bummer, I feel exactly the same, you get a hit of oxytocin or endorphins or dopamine or serotonin. I don't know which brain chemical it is. One of those positive response chemicals comes into you and says, this person cares about me. I'm okay because I'm not alone. You might stay poor the rest of your life, but you're going to have this feeling that I'm not alone. And even if it's nobody else is acknowledging you for it, just repeating that to yourself in your head gives you a little hit of repetitive, I know who I am. Every time you sort of reinforce who you think you are in your head with your own thoughts, you get a little hit of certainty. That's why people can believe, like Scientologists, that the Earth is 100,000 years old and bees came from outer space and aliens came and brought in the world, or that the end of days are coming, or that, the million other ways that we believe that the world is a particular way in direct contradiction to what all the evidence tells us. The more you entrench yourself in a particular belief structure, the better you feel about yourself. That's it. The more you entrench yourself in a belief structure, the better you feel about yourself. So when you're repeating to yourself something, I don't have enough money, the politics in America is going down the tubes, Trump is the source of all of our problems. So what you're doing is you're shifting all of your emotional energy to just what makes you feel good. So we recently started participating in a local neighborhood forum. And in that forum, there's a lot of people complaining, but no commitment to solution. Zero. So I posted a post that was a solution. That was like, if we go together to ask for this change to the people that can actually do something about it, that's taking a complaint and putting it into a potential solution. Now, like the Buddhists say, you can't be attached to the result. It's simply the right action over and over again, which enlivens you and makes you a hero and makes you a better person and makes the world a better place. If you go out and try to change something and then it doesn't change and then you quit because it didn't change, that's not it. Being solution oriented is looking for solutions in the face of 100% failure, even 100% of the time. Now that's extreme, because if you're really solution oriented, you start to crack layers of complaint and non-solution orientation out of your psyche, and every crack that you make in your psyche where you you realize, oh my God, I just complain about this and I don't actually look for a solution. You start to open it up and doors start to open for you. So back to the example about finances, instead of saying, God, I don't have anything in savings again, you start to go through the process of, well, what have I already tried and how did that work? I've tried being self-employed, just stopping all credit purchases and paying all the credit card debt off and putting everything extra that I had into those payments. I know a solution that I can apply to this. So I'm trying that solution, which is to, no longer use the credit cards for any reason, live within my monthly amount of income coming in and try to take on extra work and just keep paying off all of those debts and then negotiating with the finance companies. So anyways, like I said, I don't want this to be about finances. I'm just using finances because we have three main realms that we all focus on: money, relationships, and health. And so I'm picking one of those. You have to notice first when you complain about something. And mostly we hide from ourselves complaints. We call them conversation, we call them, just thinking. But anytime you think a thought that is not committed to an action, that's something that you don't want, that's a complaint. I'll say that again. Anytime you think a thought that is something you don't want in your life currently, that's not attached to a committed action that you're going to take, and you're going to struggle through how you're going to take that, that's a complaint. So it takes a lot, in order to really be solution oriented, it takes a lot of mental awareness. You have to be aware of your mental patterns, of your thought patterns. So practice number one, start to notice that we've refined our technique over the 11 years. You can watch that, how to create that if you're interested. And I would make a commitment. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to put X amount of dollars into my savings account, and then in the next 2 weeks, I would check in with my accountability group and we would go over what worked and what didn't work. That's really it. So basically, to be solution oriented, you need to catch when you're thinking thoughts that you don't want to happen in your life, that are current or even future oriented, like, oh, I really don't want that to happen, and you're not attaching stuff. Let's say you think to yourself, I don't really want, this is something I thought to myself, I don't really want me to die and my family not to be taken care of. Well, the solution is to go get some life insurance, right? So that's on my list, and now that I've made it public, which is another interesting way to make yourself take action. So that's it. Be solution oriented. In being solution oriented, like everything else on a growth path, it's progress. You're never there. Being sustainable, you're never sustainable. You're constantly learning what the next edge is of sustainability and regeneration. The same thing with being solution-oriented. You're never fully solution-oriented. You just keep revealing parts of yourself that aren't, and keep adding to existing solution parts, new parts that are.